Good afternoon, everyone, especially to you, ma'am. First, I would like to introduce myself. I am Ivy May A. Sumumbat. So, this afternoon, we will tackle about Lesson 19, which is Assessing Learning in Social Studies. So, the objectives first, internalize the relevance of assessment in the teaching and learning process. Second, differentiate formative and summative assessment. And third, identify the attributes of 21st century assessment. And fourth, plan for assessment strategies using the concepts presented in this chapter. So the introduction. Generally, most people associate assessment with testing, with basically is just a part of the entire assessment system. In a nutshell, assessment is a process, a tool for decision making, can be applied to both individual or group, and is generated through product or performance. So next we have assessment. Assessment is a process of gathering information to come up with decisions or intervention and instruction with young children. This process is effective when it is multidisciplinary and is anchored on the learner's everyday tasks. So this means assessment gathers information to guide teaching decisions and is effective when based on children's daily tasks. So next, in this, assessment is seen appropriate if it encompasses all developmental areas of learning, namely cognitive, which is mental, affective, which is social, emotional, and psychomotor, which is physical. So it means assessment is effective when it covers all learning areas like mental, emotional, and physical development. Assessment in Social Studies. The National Council for the Social Studies, or NCSS, is one of the leading advocates of social studies education. They argued that social studies encompassing objectives and have more authentic tasks. The NCSS in 1994 recommended the following guidelines for assessment. So first, assessment tools should be grounded on the goals of the curriculum, be a mechanism for improved curriculum and instruction, evaluate content and process, be applicable for diagnostics and instructional purposes, and possess fairness to all learners. So it means assessment tools must align with curriculum goals, improve teaching, measure learning, and be fair to all learners. So next, assessing students' achievements should be especially used to improve instruction, involve a variety of approaches and tools to measure knowledge, skills, and attitudes, be in line with the curricular objectives and the classroom experiences, and be cumulative sequential. So it means assessing students' achievements should help improve teaching, use different tools to measure. And the next one, national and local agencies should support the capacitation of teachers in developing, selecting, and implementing assessment tools. Involve educators and other social studies specialists in crafting objectives, planning for instruction and assessment, and designing assessments instruments, and evaluate enduring effects of social studies education. So it means agencies must help teachers make and use assessment work with experts and check the result of social studies education. On the flip side, Corman 1991 identified common criticism on social studies assessment in the past. First, the social studies test has failed to measure student understanding, application, appreciation, and most importantly, critical thinking. Various scholars had also concluded that multiple choice tests in social studies were merely focusing on lower level knowledge. Koretz 1988. Next, second, the open-ended types of tests such as essays were also questioned due to time constraints, both in instruction and examination. The third is on the issues that center on the effects of testing, the achievement, and the validity of test scores as determinants of accomplishment. So it means AC tests take too long, and test scores may not truly show students' real achievement. So now let's proceed to the characteristics of 21st century assessment. So Cajigal and Mantuano 2014 identified the attributes of 21st century assessment. According to them, first, we have responsive. Responsive visual assessment works generate data that inform the curriculum and instruction. In short, teachers could adjust instruction and educational leaders can consider additional educational and opportunities to cater to the present needs of the school community. So it means the assessment is not just for grading, it's a tool that actively informs and improves the curriculum and teaching practices. So next you have flexible. Curriculum design, lesson, and assessment require flexibility and resilience. With the growing changes in the educational landscapes, assessment should not be a one-size-fits-all form of evaluation. So it means assessment along with curriculum and lessons must be flexible and resilient. This means that assessment methods should not be a rigid one-size-fits-all approach. So next we have integrated. Assessments must always be reflective of the leader's day-to-day life experiences. It is all about stimulating thinking, constructing meaning, and finding connections. So integrated means assessment must directly reflect students' day-to-day life experiences. The purpose is to stimulate thinking, help students construct meaning, and show them connections between learning and the real world. So next we have informative. The desired 21st century assessment must be clearly stated and explicitly taught where students are free to display their knowledge and skills. Moreover, learning complex lessons takes time. So this means the assessment must be clearly stated and explicitly taught. It allows students to freely show their knowledge and skills, acknowledging that complex learning takes time. So next you have multiple methods. In the 21st century, an assessment continuum that includes an array of differentiated strategies is the norm. Learners must creatively showcase their knowledge and skills through relevant projects, tasks, and performances. So multiple methods attribute mandates using an array of differentiated assessment strategies. Students should use relevant project, tasks, and performance to creatively showcase their knowledge and skills. So next you have communicated. The communication of assessment data must be transparent and readily available for all stakeholders. The learners must all the time be given feedback about their own learning progress, and parents are kept informed through giving of progress reports. So communicated means assessment data must be transparent and readily available. Learners get continuous feedback and parents are informed via progress reports. So next we have technically sound. Accommodations and adjustments in assessment must always be readily available to meet the students' needs and uphold fairness. Students should communicate their learnings in ways that are relevant and appropriate for them. So technically sound means accommodations and adjustments are available for fairness. Students communicate learning using relevant and appropriate methods for their needs. So the last one we have systematic. The 21st century assessment system is a microcosm of an entire system of comprehensive and well-aligned strategies that is inclusive and balanced. This assessment addresses all kinds of stakeholders in support of the improvement of teaching and learning. So it means assessment is a comprehensive, well-aligned, and balanced system. It involves all stakeholders to improve teaching and learning. So next, what is formative assessment? First, let us find out what formative assessment means. Formative assessment includes both formal and informal processes that teachers and students use to gather data for the purpose of identifying next steps in learning. Chapwiz 2015. So it means formative assessment consists of formal and informal processes used by teachers and students to gather data. The purpose is to identify the next steps in learning. And it also refers to the kind of assessment that provides feedback about the performance of learners to accelerate and improve learning. Formative assessment is also the use of gathered information to adjust teaching and learning to maximize the development of the learners. So, formative assessment gives feedback to accelerate and improve learning. It uses data to adjust teaching and learning for maximizing students' development. And also, formative assessment answers the question like, what is not understood in the lesson? 2. What adjustments should I make to the instruction? 3. What are the strengths and weaknesses of each learner? And 4. What misconception do I need to address? And 5. Are the students ready for feedback? If so, what feedback should I give? In the classroom, we assess our learners formally through quizzes, projects, and performances. Whatever instrument is used, one thing is apparent: it must be of high quality so that it could yield accurate and exact information about the achievement of our learners. And formative assessment can be used in all the parts of the lesson. Generally, a lesson consists of three parts, which is before the lesson proper, and after the lesson. Formative assessment in each part serves a specific purpose.